So I come to you this morning wearing the best print shirt yet. Absolutely the top. You can't miss this one. And not only does it have the Cybertruck, but it actually looks good too. And thanks to my amazing wife for finding this and getting it for me. You just can't do better than that, right? Okay, it looks like we're going to get a bit of profit-taking day. Everything that has been up is down. Everything that has been down is up, except Tesla, which continues to quietly go up a few points every single day. Although not so quietly, it's not the right statement because it keeps going up like crazy and then breaking down. And yet this morning it's just quietly going up. Anyway, we'll have the latest from Trueflation, and there's quite a few surprises in that. And then what are the markets thinking as we head into employment numbers tomorrow, the CPI and the Fed next week? Holy mackerel, we got stuff coming up. This is Randy Kirk. Please hit the like. Please hit the subscribe. Please hit notify. And I'm going to go find out if I can find how to get a bunch of these shirts. Maybe we'll make this the new offer. But in the meantime, don't forget to get your Cybertruck. Big day for orders yesterday. Huge day for orders. Keep them coming. You need to get these ordered by Friday. Okay, look, seriously, if I'm straight up with you, you can probably order this on the 20th or the 18th or the 19th and still get them in time for Christmas. I can send them out to you. If you buy at least two, they go out by the special handling anyway. You're probably good, but why put it off? You know you want it. I know you're trying to decide how many. You don't know whether you want 3 or 5 or 10. Anyway, you know the rules. $25 for one, $45 for two, $65 for three, $210 for 10, and $400 for 20. That's $20 a piece. Send the money to paypal.me/Randy Kirk, 20 extra dollars if you're outside the country. And please remember to say whether you want the camo like this one or you want the regular. Okay, as we have reported earlier, Elon Musk sent out a guide for switching autos to 48 volts. And he sent this to all the CEOs of the automobile countries all over the world. And then he adds a little line on it. He says, "We did your homework for you. Please copy our answers." So Jim Farley, of course, would be the one. He responded on X and he thanked Elon publicly for sending the package out. And no comments from any of the others yet, though. So will Ford be the first one to follow Larry Goldberg's advice and place an order for, licensing for this system? Watch the Larry Goldberg video later today. This might be the most important video you will watch since last Thursday, maybe even beyond Thursday. This 48-volt architecture and what it's doing for electrical and electronics. Okay, this is not just electrical, it's also the electronic system. Both are affected dramatically in a way that nobody else is reporting. Larry is way ahead on this. You are going to love this video later today. Do not miss that video. All right, so let's see. The Nordic country unions continue to pound away at Tesla. They are doing everything they can think of. They're involving multiple countries now in this thing. They're trying to stop the cars from getting into the country. They're trying to stop them from being transported anywhere in the country. They're not allowing license plates to be delivered. The courts are involved now and they're getting pressured. What in the world is going on? This has become a battle of titans. And I think Elon is not going to give in. I think he'll write off the sales in those areas before he will cave into these folks. What do you think? Let me know in the comments before. This is just my view, but I don't think he's going to give in. Later this morning, I already just talked about that. While I am a little bit less confident in Trueflation these days, I still think it's worth looking at it for the trends and getting into the details. So this morning I jumped in and I got into those details. And right now the overall number is trending a bit hot at around 3.16. Don't like that at all. And then I went into the details. The price increases are mostly coming in the grocery store. So tobacco, alcohol, food, drinks, personal care. And then outside the grocery store, although there's certainly some items of clothing sold in grocery stores, but clothing is way up. So many of these are in like the 4 to 6% range, and they will be noticeable to the average citizen going in, which will hurt confidence. Also, if you're spending more on food, then you don't have anything left to spend it on Christmas presents. Now, on the other side of the coin, we have gasoline prices plummeting. We have oil and all that category. But the interesting thing, and I haven't had a chance to follow up on this, maybe you can let me know in the comments below, it was noting natural gas. In fact, utilities were way up. Electrical utilities and natural gas utilities were way up. I thought natural gas commodities were down, but I didn't double check that. I need to double check that. Something's going on there. Now, it might be seasonal, but wouldn't the Trueflation folks be doing seasonal analysis? Anyway, that's where we are. It's a little stronger than I'd like to see it, but it's not crazy. And many people are suggesting the Fed needs to be okay with 3%. I'm not. I think listen, you know my position on this. It's going to be a combination of reality setting in, the productivity numbers dramatically increase or continuing to be very, very high, which is going to drive inflation down. Whether Trueflation is seeing it, maybe it isn't even happening yet. It will happen. All right. In an episode the other day, I stated that the Fed is going to become irrelevant to the market. I'm going to modify that. I probably should have said less relevant, but in any case, they're still relevant now. And I think the market is already looking ahead to next week. They're worried that the Fed will not give them a more dovish signal. That's what they're looking for now. They're not looking for the Fed to lower rates next week. They're certainly going to be, the market will just crash if they raise rates. But I think they're looking for Fed Chair Powell to just say, look, we are now contemplating when it would be appropriate to start cutting, or we're at least looking at cuts. They're going to want some kind of a dovish move. Okay. The market absolutely believes now that there will be cuts in March, as I started saying, how long ago? 3 months ago, before anybody said there'd be cuts in March. Okay. There's going to be cuts in March. I'm just telling you, and maybe sooner. A lot of folks are now saying, don't wait too long, Fed. You need to do this sooner. And now there's starting to be a percentage of people that on the surveys that they asked the economists who were saying that these cuts could come as early as January. I do not think they'll come in January. I think they're going to come in March. I think that's going to be long. But as you know, what I would like to see is quantitative easing, or at least quantitative neutral. Stop selling bonds. Buy bond. You don't have to buy bonds yet. Do not stop selling the bonds. Okay, Cybertruck has a toggle for, this is an option you now have in the Cybertruck, is wade mode. It's in the off-road Baja settings. It raises the ride height and it pressurizes the battery when driving through water. There you go. We have doggy mode. Now we have wade mode. All right. Anyway, Kramer is out this morning with a buy Tesla comment. All right. So you know the story on Kramer. There's a lot of people that think that Kramer is the same as Randy, that whatever Randy says, do the opposite. Do you think that? I get a few comments, not very many, but a few people who think that that's true. If you think that's true, let me know in the comments below. If you think that I'm right 50.00001% of the time, let me know that in the comments too, because, I could always use a little cheering up, a little encouragement. Anyway, there were 220,000 initial jobless claims this week, ending December 2nd. The weekly data published by the U.S. Department of Labor showed on Thursday. The advanced seasonally adjusted insured unemployment rate was 1.2%, and the 4-week moving average stood at 220,000, which is an increase of 500 from the previous week. So the long term is up a little bit more. This is what people are looking at as evidence of a slowing economy, but the jobs market is not really showing a slowing economy yet. I just keep saying this. Please understand me. When you still have a huge, historically high number of job openings, and you have almost nobody looking for those jobs, the job market is still tight. Okay, it's loosened. Is it looser than it was a year ago? Yes. Is it looser than it was a couple of months ago? Yes, but it is not loose. It is still tight. Anyway, all right. From Sawyer Merritt this morning, this news comes from Bloomberg. SpaceX's Starlink satellite service has successfully completed 9 months of U.S. military tests in the Arctic. Brian Beal, principal engineer with the Air Force, said, we tested some very high winds, some very cold temperatures. That all went smoothly. Once we got the terminals mounted securely to withstand high winds, they worked great with no issues. Go Starlink. And of course, this is you have at least 12 people that will buy them up there in the Antarctic. Okay, I like this one. Michael Antonelli. He goes on X. He goes as @Bulland Baird, B-A-I-R-D. He says, let me get this straight. Oil is under a 70. Well, it's right around 70. Rates are plummeting. 10-year high at 4.1. Well, it was, but it's up a little this morning. Anyway, 12-month forward earnings are rising. Inflation is falling. Productivity is rising, and stocks are at all-time highs. And I'm supposed to be bearish? I wonder if he watches this channel. Anyway, from Electric this morning. All right, this is a little bit of a long one. Let me get through this. I've been reporting for a long time that these guys are a sleeper. They are going to be in the top 5 car companies when all the dust settles in 2030, at least based on their current trajectory. We're talking about Stellantis. And here's what Electric said this morning. Stellantis CEO Carlos Tavares said the leader behind brands. He's of course, the brands for Stellantis are, nobody knows who Stellantis is. That's Jeep, Ram, Dodge, Fiat, and several others, has a warning for other automakers. Tavares said EVs must be affordable but profitable, or they will be in trouble very, very soon. Duh. Now, here's why I'm reporting this to you. He says to attract middle-class shoppers, lower EV prices are needed. You can only solve this by reducing cost. Tavares said that at a Goldman Sachs conference, adding, and this is something we are reasonably good at. Tavares pointed to cheaper EVs, including the upcoming Citroen, starting at about $25,000. Stellantis said the new Citroen EV is the first European affordable electric car. The new EV rides are a variant of Stellantis' smart car platform used in India to enable low prices. According to Automotive News, Tavares said Stellantis electrified vehicles are in the black, both in the US and Europe. The automaker's leader said EV margins are nearing those of ICE vehicles. That's them, not Tesla, but their EV margins are nearing those of ICE vehicles, and their margins are excellent. Stellantis is showing high profits, much more so than the other legacy U.S. companies. In Europe, Tavares said the brand is fighting head-on with Tesla. Well, okay. for sales in Europe, Natalie Knight, Stellantis CFO, said the automaker overtook Tesla for second in European EV sales. I think that might include hybrid. I'm pretty sure of that. I'm like 100% sure of that. Where are the numbers right now this morning? Okay, let's check and see how things are going along. Well, Tesla, so I said Tesla was eking out a positive number. Well, they've fallen to a slightly negative number for the moment. It looks like that's already turned and starting towards positive again. The Dow Jones is up basically not at all. It's basically unchanged. The NASDAQ is up 0.63%. The S&P is up 0.43. So again, you see what I said earlier is the NASDAQ now is doing what it has been doing. It's outperforming the Dow and the S&P. And then you got Tesla right now underperforming everybody, down slightly. Now you'll find, I'm going to show you something once again, how this funny thing about Tesla. Anyway, it's down 0.4% this morning. All of the, okay, Microsoft is down a little also, but the rest of the Magnificent Seven are up this morning, but the Cathie Woods are all down, mostly down. Okay, it's a little bit mixed, but mostly down this morning. Once again, showing that Tesla tends to still have some of that Cathie Wood flavor to it. And so why would Tesla be down a little bit this morning when the NASDAQ is up and most of the Mag 7 are up? Well, that would say that bonds have hit their bottom and are bouncing this morning. Wouldn't you guess that? All right, let's go take a look. Okay, what do we got here? We have got the bonds are sitting here this morning up 2.3 basis points. Okay, that's the 10-year. Okay, so that's a small bounce. It was up a little more than that earlier. So you're sitting at 4.144. That's still excellent, but you see it's hitting a bottom. And this is what I'm talking about today. I don't know if this will hold. Quite frankly, I do think that there's going to be some bottoming on some of this stuff, like oil. All right, so oil was under 70. It has a technical bounce at 67. So do I think it'll test that? Yes, I think it'll test that. Do I think it'll break through that? I do not. Okay, so I think oil is now hitting around the bottom. Same thing on this 10-year. I think 4 is maybe the bottom. I don't know if it'll get to 4. It's a round number deal. But I think it's getting close to a bottom. Okay, we're hitting those levels where it's not going to be easy to punch through. We have, as you'll see in a second. Well, okay, let me look at the two. But this is kind of the trend. Okay, I think the S&P and the Dow are hitting tops. They're going to break through those, but it's going to be challenging to break through those. So we've got the 2-month this morning is up just a little bit, not as much as the 10-year, and you got the 2-year is actually down, so shrinking some of that increase in the inversion that we've seen the last few days. We have got, okay, we have got the Dow Jones Industrial is now up $7, the S&P up $19, NASDAQ up $95. You have got the Bitcoin down $400 at 43.5, very strong. But again, here's another case. I think it may be getting, a little bit frothy, You've got the dollar this morning staying right again, frothy, maybe could break through depending on what happens with bonds, but probably done moving for a while. Gold sitting flat this morning at 2,043. You got oil sitting flat this morning, up 56 cents. Just under $70 at $69.96. So I think you got a lot of things that have hit their maximums and are their minimums, and it might be tough to break through on some of this stuff right now. So we could see some flat trading in some of these categories, especially with all the news that's coming out over the next 4 trading sessions. So let's see here. We want to go back and I want to take another look at Tesla real quick. It is now down 0.27% or 64 cents. Extremely flat. I'm going to say it again. Tesla is going to be back in the green this morning or today. I think it's going to finish in the green. It's down to $1.17 now, just as I'm watching. But I think Tesla will finish in the green today. I think it's got a long way to run, and I don't think that it's going to be affected long term by these other things that are going on. It's going to be affected long term by all the good news about Tesla. I don't know whether this is the Swedish strike thing. There's really no bad news about Tesla this morning that I'm aware of. Again, it's only down $1. So, all right, let's see. You do not. All right, what we want. Be sure, absolutely positive. If you missed it yesterday, okay, you probably saw my video yesterday. At the noon hour. And it was about Tesla going to all-time highs by January, the end of January. And you're like, Randy, I've already heard your story before. No, you didn't hear it the way I did it yesterday. If you've got the time, here's the card. Go back and take a look at that. It was an important, well, in my humble opinion. If anything that I'm saying is important or useful or valuable, that one was. Okay, there's bunches of new stuff in there, bunches of new ways of looking at what's going on. I highly recommend that you go and take a look at that. And then do not miss, we got Larry Goldberg later today. This is probably the best video I've ever done with Larry, probably the most important. It may be the most important video that's out this week, maybe even within the last few weeks, all about 48 volt, but also it's the electrical, it's the electronics. It is the design of the way it's laid out. It is it affects so many things in the car. It affects the cost. It affects the number of parts. It affects and he does a great job. You know how Larry is. got a great slideshow. You want to see that today. And then we've got Bradford Ferguson on tonight for Good News Thursday. We've got so much going on tomorrow. I forgot. I'm just forgetting. Anyway, we got Cathie Wood tomorrow night, and then Larry and I will analyze her on Saturday morning. So much good stuff coming up. So be sure to hit like and subscribe and notify. Don't just pass by. Hit the like button. Have you subscribed yet? Hit subscribe. I'm getting close to 18,000. We want to hit that number. Join Patreon. Have you joined Patreon yet? Have you bought your Cybertruck? You know, Cybertruck's hot, man. There's even a shirt now. Okay. And you want one of these, be sure to look in the description below for information about buying Cybertrucks or joining Patreon. Okay. Final look. 15th look here at Tesla. Yeah, it's choppy, just under break even. And the Mag 7 continue to be in the green, and the Cathie Woods are moving a little bit toward the green. You see, I think we're going to end up pretty much in the green today. That's just my theory. It has been great talking to you as always.